right. Hello, everyone. We are starting something really cool. I'm excited about it. We're starting today with something called Alumni Spotlight. As a way to celebrate CCA's 30th anniversary, we decided we'd like to feature some alumni from over the years and have them come on and share with the world what they've been up to. These are students who graduated from CCA either in high school as a 12th grader or as an 8th grader, and then went on to other high schools. And so we're going to meet several people over the course of the next couple months and just get to celebrate with us how God has used people all around the country, all around the world. And we're just so proud of our little school, CCA, Community Christian Academy, and what God has done through it over the years. So let's welcome our first round of alumni. And today we have with us Lucas and Michelle Doherty. Say hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
We also have Charbel Kadish coming from Florida. He's all the way down in Florida in the warm sunshine.
Oh, it is warm.
Always warm. And we also have Joshua Hamilton, who's out in California.
Hello. Hey, guys.
Thank you guys for joining us. And we're just so happy that you could spend some time with us today. And I know that there will be people from all different walks of life watching. There will be, current students, current family members of CCA watching. And I just wanted to be able to show different groups of people, whether they will be looking at our school for the future or whether they're already in our school, or we'll be hopefully reaching those who also graduated, and they'll get to have a blast from the past too by seeing your faces. So we wanted to just be able to walk down memory lane a little bit, but also encourage people out there who may be thinking about Christian education to see what God can do through people like you. So let's get started. I'm going to ask my first question, and whoever wants to jump on it can go ahead and answer first. But I just wanted to know what you guys have been up to since you graduated, which is a long time ago now. 2000.
Remind me.
So 3 of you on this call graduated in 2004.
Yes.
2004, yeah.
1 of you, Luke, graduated in 2005.
I'm the baby of the group. Always have been, always will be.
It's not that long ago, okay? It's not that long ago.
But the education, I felt so ready for college. By the time I actually got to college, my first year or 2 was like really easy because I was like, wow, this is actually like, I know all this already because I was so well prepared. But then after that, we ended up getting married. We met in school, obviously, but then we ended up getting married 2009, the year I graduated college. And then from that point on, it's just kind of been a steady diet of regular life, busy work. We have 2 beautiful girls, Ava and Leah. We live on a farm, and it was only supposed to be 3 years, but we're going on 11. So hopefully someday we'll get that big house. But yeah, life's been awesome. It's been crazy. For me, I've been able to stay involved actually with CCF. I'm a licensed minister there now, part of the preaching rotation. I'm also the worship director. So very involved still at the church, which has been kind of cool through a long term. But I know you had stuff you wanted to add, right?
Yeah. After graduation, I went on to college and became a teacher. And right after graduation, I actually got my first teaching position at CCA itself. And so I was the 2nd grade teacher for 5 years. And then I have taken a break since because I had my 2 children. And so I've been raising them. But I think I look back at my high school and junior high, and I know that God placed me there, and I saw his hands on my life then, and I see how good he's been to me since.
Part of it. And the community of friends and stuff like that, and the things that I learned, not just education wise, but like how to walk with Christ, how to be like Christ, understanding the scriptures and things like that. And then having my friendship, obviously being in the band throughout all of high school was probably one of my favorite memories of all time. And maintaining that for my whole life. And to remember all of that was all brought because of the foundation I had from school.
That's awesome. yeah, and I just want to share with you guys and anyone who's watching that that same atmosphere that you all experienced, it has always remained a part of CCA till this day. When people ask, you know, what makes your school different, I can always say that it is the friendships that you make, the relationships that you make in a nice, tight-knit atmosphere like ours. And even our junior high students, year after year after year, they shed those tears at graduation because they don't want to leave. And they're so happy that they made those close friendships. And I know that year after year, those graduating classes stay in touch for so long. So way after you guys graduated, that is still a legacy that keeps going.
That's awesome.
So, Josh, how about you?
Yeah, just where life, God has brought me. I mean, about a year after high school, and we had the band throughout high school, which was incredible, and really deepening my walk and my worship in my life, and just has taken us so many places. You know, one of those places was Connecticut, where I met my wife, my now wife, and we've been married 15 years now.
Wow.
And yeah, went down to Connecticut shortly after graduating high school, became the worship leader down there at 19 years old. And then about 6 years after that, we felt God calling us out to San Diego. I mean, it's not hard. I feel like the Lord's leading me to San Diego for some reason. But but yeah, we came out here for vacation one time, and we just, something echoed in our heart, and we're like, this something is like really clicking with the people that we've met. And so, long story short, we've been out here 11 years, and I've become a service manager to a pretty big pest control company in San Diego. And I'm also the worship pastor of the Gathering Place Church. Been doing that ever since we got here. I have two daughters, Selah and Liv. They're both 8 and 6. My oldest is Selah, she's 8. And I own a home out here in Ramona in the horse country, which is so fun.
I wanted to comment on something you said a couple of times, and your heart for worship and your love for worship, and how, you know, that was cultivated a lot at CCA, getting to lead worship for our students during chapel and all that. And I want you guys to know too, just like the aspect of friendship, the aspect of worship is still huge. And there's not many places you can go for your K through 12 education and get a weekly time to worship the Lord together. And that's still been a big part of CCA to this day. And we just love,
still critical.
Yeah, we love that time of worship with our students.
I mean, it's cool to even think that me, Josh, and Sharby are all worship leaders.
Yeah.
All around the country, you know, and that was all cultivated at CCA.
It really is so true that the depth that I have and how I can lead people was really cultivated through, you know, junior high and in high school with Mr. Cones, and then, you know, chapel time, you know, and all that, like, that was put in me at a young age. So
that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. Sharby/Chris. I don't know what people call you down there now since you left us.
It's been great. It's been a little bit different for me. You know, my plan was to originally go to college or try to get into college after graduation, but that just was not the path that I went on. Again, not traditional. Was still trying to figure my life out. Still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And
you and me both, bro.
Yeah, bro, I was kind of all over the place, man. But no, I ended up moving down to Florida around 2006. It got to a point where I was just like, Lord, I just need to make a change. I really want an opportunity to get more involved in ministry and mainly worship. My sister was down here at the time, and she's like, hey, you know, I can connect you with some of our pastors here at our church, which I'm still a part of now. I've been there about 15 years. So I ended up coming down here and attending Christ Fellowship Church. I actually became, the first worship intern for our church, which was pretty cool. So we got to create a lot of new programming or a lot of new ideas, and just a whole lot of open doors, you know, just happened to where it flourished into something so spectacular now with our internship program. But I ended up getting heavily back involved in worship there. I met my wife, Heather, which I know Michelle and Luke have met her. I don't know if anyone else has. I'm sorry if you did, but I don't think you have. But she's the sweetest. When she was born, she was dumped in a pile of sugar type of thing. So she's pretty awesome. But
she can keep up with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we met at church. We were together for about 8 months, and then we ended up getting married. Always wanted to be in the fire service. I always wanted to do a bivocational role where I would be in ministry and work at the fire service. It's a little bit difficult to do. I was there for a season, but ended up growing to be like, I really just want to be all in on my career in the fire service, and then to still continue to be a worship leader on Sundays. But career-wise, I worked for Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. Been a firefighter for 4 years this year. But it's the best department. I love what I'm doing. It's been awesome. So, God is good. CCA wise, I mean, if my parents never took me out of school at Lowell High, I honestly have no idea where I would be. CCA saved my life for sure. And a lot of relationships were born through that. My love for worship and getting closer to the Lord happened through that in schools. I mean, again.
So our next question is just something that, I really, really like to ask people when they leave us, and down the road when I get to catch up with alumni every now and then, I always like to ask this question, and that is, what did it mean to you to have a Christian education? And for this, I want to start with Josh.
Cool. When I thought about this question, for a while, and I actually wrote it down because a lot kind of kept spilling in of what it meant. Having a Christian education meant that behind the academics, this is what I wrote here, it meant there was a spirit of truth behind it. So behind the academics, it was a biblical worldview, a lens of which to view life. It was the foundational safety net that made me feel secure, even at the times when I was challenging and I was giving teachers a hard time and I was trying to figure myself out. And all that stuff.
You didn't do that.
I didn't do that at all.
Never spoke a different language for an entire period.
But there was always that safety net. There was always that, like, I can be who I was created to be. And I know that the teachers and those that are around me are going to see my strengths and celebrate those, rather than highlight all the bad and you're too crazy, you're too nuts, you're this, you're that, you're the other thing. But my strengths were celebrated and even given platforms sometimes, which is with the worship. And on Wednesdays, playing drums with Mr. Cones and all that stuff. But having a biblical education, I mean, answering these questions, you see the trajectory of our lives. Yeah. God has been faithful. Amen. Every step of our transitions in life, from high school to college to maybe not going to college, figuring things out. That was my story too. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I knew that God would direct my steps. And I often go back to just closing my eyes and thinking about back in the day with the youth group and, and the just going through the classes and stuff, but knowing that there was God's spirit there. So
wow. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing.
Good.
And it just blesses me to know, that those of us who have stayed in this, continuing to serve and labor at CCA, that, the labor is not in vain. It's all for a reason, that the fruit of it is in so many of you guys and many, many more people that you don't even know.
So what did it mean for me to have a Christian education? It meant that apart from home, I also had a place where other people loved God that I could learn from and have examples of. So I had teachers that I trusted, that I looked up to, that I thought were awesome people that I watched. And I saw how they lived their life and how they navigated this Christian perspective, like Josh said, and worldview. And I could see how they did things, and I could base my life off of, I want that for me someday. It was also a place that I could go and be encouraged. Okay, education is important, but so is your faith in Christ. And so having both go together for me was really important.
Knowing that you have teachers that are praying for you, that are valuing you, that want the best for you, that, you know, see that God has his hand on your lives, and they share that with you. You know, that all that meant so much to me. Again, just like what I said in the beginning, like CCA, going there literally saved my life. But it's important because I can now, you know, I can share that with, you know, with my kids, just like how I'm sure you guys are doing with yours.
Yeah. One more question here, and I love this question because I love hearing stories and I love walking down memory lane. But before we do that, I want to show you guys something. I have a little surprise. I pulled up. This has been on my wall.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
You guys graduated. I'm gonna go to
I'm still trying to figure out why my bangs were so long sometimes.
Yeah, 2003, 2004. Is that that's the senior president?
Yeah, that was your senior class picture.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so cool.
When I ask this question, what was your favorite memory? Do you have like a favorite memory from CCA? I wonder if Luke will say meeting my wife, probably, right?
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count.
Doesn't
count. So what kind of memory do you have to share with us? I don't know. We'll see.
I'll go first. Because Luke's going to know exactly where I'm going with this. We had a game. And again, we all have, you know, so many memories. But do you remember the game we played at Bethany?
Yes.
We were down by 5.
Yep.
Luke drains this 3. And then it was like 8 or 9 seconds left. And we were in a 1-3-1 defense, dude. Do you remember this? And then at the last second, stole the ball, went down for the layup, won the game.
Yep.
That was amazing. That was cool as a team. I remember that.
So loud. Like everybody was screaming their heads off and stuff like that.
It was so crazy, man. That was one of my most favorites. But that one was the first one that came to my mind when I read that question.
That's awesome.
Wow.
We still have Dark Angels. We still do.
Yeah.
We even, for the first time last year, had a JV girls basketball team.
Nice.
That's cool.
It was awesome.
That's cool.
And we won a sportsmanship award from the league that we're part of. So
wow.
Good for you guys. That's awesome. That's so cool. I like the new glass hoops that were there too. What did we have back then? The white aluminum backboards, something like that, steel ones.
The ball died.
I played in that game. It just goes to show you that I had no contribution to play at all.
I remember you in the game.
Dribbled a couple times, and that was pretty much it. Okay. One was when Eastern Sky would practice after schools. Eastern Sky was our band.
Yeah.
For those of you that are watching that, it was our band. We started back in 7th grade. We were over on Industrial Avenue, and we would go to, get dropped off at the elementary school because that's where the church was. So yeah, I just remember us walking after we set up all the band gear. We'd walk to McDonald's on the train tracks, and then we'd walk back, have practice for like 2 or 3 hours, and then youth group would start, and we'd have more fun at youth groups. So it was kind of like a blended thing, all about building relationships, working on our craft, our God-given gifts, and then doing more God stuff, which was so fun. So those are the memories that stick out to me.
Nice. Awesome. You guys?
I would say the high school plays that we were in, and Luke was my Tony and I was his Maria, which was fun.
And Daddy Warbucks.
And Daddy Warbucks and Grace. So yeah, all the high school plays, they were awesome. And our times of worship together on Wednesday morning chapels. I remember the lights going off and those being some of the first times that I experienced the presence of God, like the true intimacy of God, and seeing that I can express worship in different ways.
Singing Hills has got to be one of the tops for me. Like I remember, like even now when we go away, sometimes early in the morning I'll disappear, walk away with my Bible. Like we went to the beach, just bring a chair down there and it's just me and the Bible. And I kind of learned, to doing devotions and things like that from Singing Hills. Like I remember Greg and Jen and even Joe, they would all, they'd all be with us and teach us like, all right, guys, every, whatever it was, 8 a.m., You're going to go and do your 20 minutes of devotions, wherever you want to go, wherever you want to do it. And I can remember walking around, going to the spot I had thought about on the hill in the woods,
all the way up
just
to the top.
overlooking everything, and walking up and seeing everybody on the sides in their own special spot with their Bibles, studying.
Yeah.
Like I can remember, like those are like, just, I loved those moments. And to think back, like at high school, yeah, the education was priceless and awesome, but like that was so personally huge for me in terms of godly growth, that like that's probably my number one memory.
Wow.
Well, aside from her.
Cool.
That's cool.
Well, we're going to wrap up now, and I just thank you guys again for joining us. It was really a special time to be with you and share these memories. And I'm just so glad that, we can connect. And also for everyone who's watching out there, we encourage you. I hope that these stories encouraged you. I hope these testimonies encouraged you to keep the faith and keep, believing that your investment in Christian education is worth it. And, you are really, I know it's a sacrifice. And for many of you, especially in a time like we are living in now, it's a sacrifice to continue to pay that tuition bill, or to drive your kids out of your way just to go to a Christian school where you could have gone to the public school down the street from you. But, you found CCA for a reason. And I thank you for trusting us with your children. And hopefully these stories, these people here, these awesome people here have encouraged you to keep going and spread the word, continue spreading the word. We have been a school for 30 years for a reason. And that reason, I believe, is that God has ordained for this school to stay open for this long. And we keep excelling and we keep growing, and we keep loving our students every year. So send more children to CCA to really experience this awesome education. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Hey, one more thing. I love one thing, Jen. Proverbs 22:6 says that when you train up a child the way he should go, even when he is old, he will not depart from it. And I was just reminded of that as you were speaking, that there's, because of the foundation, even though when you get to college and when you start getting a job, when you're in relationships here and there, you go through so many ups and downs, having the foundation of Christ is the most important piece of a godly education, 100%. Because once you have that, you always have in the back of your mind, even though you're going through that tough time. Oh yeah, I was told there's going to be trials and tribulations and things I'm going to go through, but Jesus will always be there for me. He will always hear me. So if you're a parent, remember that for your child. You're not just sending them and it's costing money because you want to keep them safe. You're sending them for an education that they'll remember the rest of their life, and a godly foundation that may save them someday.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was awesome.
God bless
Love you
you.
guys.